Welcome to Delhi.
Thank you, Mr. Jit. Nice to see you.
Pick your favorite for Roland Garros.
I think obviously if you leave the latest rather, Italian Open champion out of the mix, Rafa Nadal, he's probably the favorite going in, but maybe less of a favorite this year than he has been over the last 10 years. So it's going to be interesting to see who else is able to actually challenge him there.
And what about the women?
You know, the women I think is fairly wide open. Once again, I think there's, you got the Naomi Osaka, you've got Kristina Pliskova, Simona Halep, and of course a whole slew of others who can challenge the top spot. So I don't think there are any clear-cut favorites, especially on the clay.
So what happened to Nadal? Like he was reaching the semis and not winning the title till last Sunday. Suddenly he pulled out a rabbit, like beating Novak in such commanding fashion. So is he really going into French Open with a lot of positive?
If you look at his lead up to it, it's obviously he has come into the clay court season for the first time, perhaps with a little less confidence than he has had. And the thing that gives him the utmost confidence rather is the clay under his feet. And as soon as he has that, he tends to be able to play with more aggressiveness and more forward thinking. You know, and I think the way he came in, having lost in 2 semi-finals, when by the time he got to Rome, he was ready for the win. He was back to his normal conditioning, and that first set against Djokovic in the Italian final was quite superb. So as he gets to Roland Garros, I think he's going to be the clear favorite. The question is, of course, if he handles again 7 good matches on the clay.
What about a new guy like the Tsitsipas and all these people? Like he's really the one to look out for.
There are several. You know, Zverev has had a very poor clay court season. I think he's overdue one good tournament. Tsitsipas certainly has won a couple of tournaments this year, and he's coming in very, very strong. Roland Garros is arguably the toughest of the Grand Slams, and so when you look at the clay there, the 7 days, the weather can be a factor. The balls can get heavier if it starts to rain. Apparently, it's raining as we speak. So you're looking at things that could cause a little bit of a difference towards the 5-set matches, especially if the 5-set matches end up coming back to back. Are you going to be able to finish a 5-set match on time and stay within the schedule? Those things make a big difference in Roland Garros. Having played there, it's a spectacular setting. You know, Roland Garros is beautiful. It's French. It is a pleasure to play there. The city of Paris is the city of love. I mean, you want to be out there and enjoy every moment of your being in Paris. I probably think that it's one of the few tournaments in the world where players, even after they lose, they want to stay because it's Paris.
Another thing, your favorite, Roger, is making a comeback at the court in Paris after 4 years, after 2015. And what do you think are his chances?
Well, he played Madrid. He saved 2 match points against Monfils to beat him, and then had 2 match points in the next round and lost. So, you know, he's coming in with more matches, but I don't know whether this was a wise move for him to play all the clay court events. So it remains to be seen how he feels going into the first grass court event. But he is definitely the 2nd or 3rd best player on clay. There's no question about it. So when you look at Roland Garros, he still is second to Rafa, or perhaps also to Djokovic over there. And so it's going to be interesting to see the kind of draw he gets.
Played in your long career with the greats of the board, Connors and McEnroes of the world, and now you are seeing Novak, Rafa, and Roger. Any comparison?
The comparison, the commonality amongst all the names you just mentioned is the issue of greatness. And you can't argue with greatness. I don't think you can compare eras of players having played on the clay or on grass or any other surface. But when you look at, if you look at Paris and look at the fact that Laver won 2 Grand Slams, one as an amateur and one as a professional, one in '62 and one in '69, winning all the 4 in the same calendar year, which is the official Grand Slam of the season. It's unimaginable rather to think that that's possible. And today I think if Djokovic wins this one, he will probably be holding all 4 of them at the same time, which is an incredible feat in itself. And you look at the Masters Series events that these boys have played against each other, and now Rafa is at 34 and Djokovic at 33. So you're talking about some spectacular results with these 3 guys in there, even though Roger has 20 majors in his bank. So I think when you compare eras, you see the one commonality is the greatness of these players.
So you have Roland Garros as a new partner in Rolex, and you have known Rolex for a while. So your comments on the partnership?
Well, it's brilliant. The thing about Rolex is always what it stands for. The philosophy of what the company stands for. It's not just the quality of the product that we all know. It's not just the aspect of it's such a classy product and all of that. That goes without saying. I'm just talking about the philosophy of the company itself and what they do for society, and also the legacy that they leave behind every time they touch an event or touch a family through their incredible Rolex Awards for Enterprise, through their mentor and protege program. The stuff that they do is, it gives me goosebumps. And that's the greatest part of what Rolex is all about. And the fact that it just doesn't tell time, it tells history, is a perfect example of what Rolex is. So the partnership with Roland Garros is very special as well, because now Rolex has all the 4 Grand Slams.
Any favorite Rolex watch for you? Anything which you have fond memories of, which you have grown over time, or the one which you're wearing? Any fond memories of Rolex?
Well, it's a bit thing to say that you have one favorite Rolex, but the one that stands to mind comfortably for me is my very, very first one, because the first watch I ever owned was a Rolex, and I happened to win it. So that one has always been the most special to me.
What makes Rolex the most in-demand luxury watch in the world? What are the qualities which make it stand out?
Well, besides the fact that it looks spectacular, besides the fact that it's a classy product, besides the fact that it is a legacy product, it's something that people are able to pass on time after time to people, and generations and so on. So it's something that stands the test of time. It's something that when you wear a Rolex, I always feel you should have earned it. And I think when you achieve something that you've won, you've done exceptionally well in a project, you've done exceptionally well in an event, you won something major, you've done a big deal, and you feel very good about yourself, and you're able to share it with family and friends, I think then you deserve a Rolex.
So coming back to tennis, India has produced some great doubles champions. When do we see a singles champion coming, and any advice about how to probably reach them to make a Indian singles champion?
Well, first of all, it has to come from within. You don't play tennis to play doubles. You don't start off tennis playing doubles and saying, I want to be a good doubles player, a good mixed doubles player. You start off tennis because you want to be the next Federer. You start off tennis because you want to be the next Nadal. So I think that needs to be the focus. And what does it take to get there? And it doesn't matter what age you get there. And as I've always said in the past, that Indians tend to mature physically later and mentally sooner than a Western athlete. So what a Western athlete could possibly do at 18 or 19, we've got to understand that it might take us 25 or 26 to do the same thing, physically. Mentally, we might be prepared. So I think we've got to wait out our time and put in that work and put in that effort. Pay respect to the fact that it takes longer for our muscles to be able to grow that way. And then physically, we have become taller as well, so we can compete physically. And I think we are in a slump. We need to get back up there and get back into the world group of the Davis Cup. We need to be able to compete at the highest level in all the Grand Slams. And we're not there yet. We're getting there.
Biggest win of your career?
Laver at the US Open.
Best player you have played against?
There were a bunch of them, but Laver, Borg, Connors, McEnroe.
Borg or McEnroe?
Both geniuses. McEnroe did it one way, Borg did it another. Talent-wise, probably McEnroe, talent-wise, but Borg is a better athlete.
Roger or Rafa?
Again, both champions, both geniuses. You cannot, if they were both in different eras, we'll be talking about who was better. Roger has won more majors, Rafa has beaten him more number of times. So it's hard to pick between the two, but at the end of the day, because Roger plays a modern version of yesterday's tennis, you would feel more comfortable saying Roger.
Emerging player of the year?
You probably have to go along with Tsitsipas only because of the way he also plays. He plays with a great deal of variety. So that makes a huge difference to watching him playing.
Thank you.